Again out west, where protests continued throughout downtown Los Angeles, this time less violent than what we saw over the weekend. There were fewer clashes reported yesterday with law enforcement as groups marched across the city in protest of the Trump administration's immigration raids. Despite this, the White House deployed another 2,000 National Guard troops, bringing the total number to 4,000 National Guard. 700 Marines were also activated. California Governor Gavin Newsom says the deployment of the troops was unnecessary and only stokes more fear and anger. He's also calling the president's decision to mobilize the Marines illegal, saying he'll file a lawsuit against that move, just like he did for the National Guard troops yesterday. NBC News political and national correspondent Jacob Soboroff has the latest on that back and forth.
What do we want? What do we want?
Tensions high on the streets of Los Angeles and between the Trump administration and the state of California. The state announcing a lawsuit against the administration over its deployment of the National Guard.
I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Everybody knows.
While President Trump suggested he's open to arresting Governor Gavin Newsom.
I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great.
Tom is Tom Homan, the president's border czar. Over the weekend, Homan and Newsom throwing jabs at one another during interviews with NBC News. Homan saying anyone who breaks the law by standing in the way of immigration enforcement could be arrested, even Newsom or L.A. Mayor Karen Bass.
Are they at risk of being arrested?
I'll say it about anybody. You cross that line. It's a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien. It's a felony to impede law enforcement from doing their job.
That led to this reaction from Newsom, who I met up with at the Los Angeles County Emergency Operations Center.
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his words. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
Homan clarifying his comments.
They haven't crossed the line, but they're not above the law either. If they commit a crime, they certainly will ask for prosecution. That's what was happening. I never threatened to arrest Governor Newsom.
The protests ignited after a series of immigration raids in L.A., where as many as 1 million undocumented immigrants live.
Before those protests on Friday, one of the locations where ICE reportedly conducted an enforcement operation was right here in this parking lot of a Home Depot in the Cypress Park neighborhood of Los Angeles, where day laborers stand on corners just like this and wait for cars to go by in order to be offered a job and go take one for the day.
In the face of the uncommon raids, these undocumented workers felt it was important to speak out, but wore masks to protect their identities.
Everybody is scared about ICE.
Are you worried about your family, about your families?
Absolutely.
Organizer Pablo Alvarado calling the raids the highest expression of hypocrisy.
We need your labor, but we don't want to accept your humanity. We need your labor, but we don't want to respect your rights.
And there's one of the issues right there. Eugene Robinson, I'll start with you. Obviously, there are these two guys talking about arresting one another, or potentially Gavin Newsom. But until something like that happens, there are these ICE raids underway, and there is a terrified community. And then the implications of that. How do you see this playing out?
Well, first of all, Tom Homan, let's be clear, doesn't have any authority to arrest anybody, let alone Gavin Newsom. He's a White House advisor. He has no law enforcement position or anything, so he can't arrest Gavin Newsom even if he wanted to. So how does this play out? I mean, what is actually happening? Donald Trump clearly is changing the subject. He loves talking about immigration. He loves creating this image of chaos in the streets that only he can solve, that only he can quiet. And it gets everybody talking about this, and rightly so. There were disturbances over the weekend, and it's a real issue. These ICE raids are being done in an unprecedented manner, in contravention of the way they usually do immigration enforcement. But it gets us talking about this rather than talking about the big, beautiful bill that nobody likes, the big, beautiful bill that a majority of the American people don't want because of the cuts to Medicaid, because of the tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires, because of what it does to the national debt. And so, he's very good at changing the subject, and he's done it again.
Yeah. To that point, President Trump called in the National Guard to L.A. despite Governor Newsom not requesting it. Compare that to what he said back in 2020.
We have laws. We have to go by the laws. We can't move in the National Guard. I can call insurrection, but there's no reason to ever do that, even in a Portland case. We can't call in the National Guard unless we're requested by a governor.
So, Claire McCaskill, what changed here?
Well, nothing. He wanted to put on a show. This is really just a reality TV show that he's trying to produce here. What's really unbelievable about this is we need some more context here, Mika. If you look at what happened after the Lakers won the NBA championship, I wish we had overhead shots of the crowds when the Lakers won the NBA championship and the protests that occurred over the weekend. The NBA championship folks in the streets dwarf the number of people who have been out protesting in LA. If you look at the pictures from last night, there were 2 times as many law enforcement on the street as there were protesters. This is so out of proportion to what happened. There were 3 times as many people arrested the night the Lakers won the NBA championship as were arrested on the night that we first had some incidents of violence in LA. And who are the very best people trained to deal with crowd control and de-escalation? Guess what? It's the police departments in places like Los Angeles. The Marines, as General Hertling said, they don't know how to do crowd control. They're not trained in that. This is such an unbelievable, oversized reaction to people who passionately felt they had the right to protest in America. And last time I looked, it was a pretty all-American value to peacefully protest. I just beg, I've said this before on the network, but I want to say it again. I beg everyone who feels passionately about this to not be violent. That is giving Donald Trump the opportunity, and it's creating B-roll that is run over and over again and gives everyone the impression this problem is much bigger than it is.
And Jonathan, Mayor Bass herself said, yes, there are people committing crimes. They will be identified and arrested as they should be, but the LAPD has this. The LAPD has handled much bigger protests, much more violence, in fact. They have massive capabilities, including overhead with helicopters and planes and everything else that they can deploy. And if that's the case that Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom are making, yes, this is something that has to be dealt with, and we are dealing with it. We don't need the National Guard, let alone the United States Marine Corps.
The mayor, the governor, the police commissioner have all said that we've got this under control. The number of people who are being violent is a very small minority of these protesters. The vast majority have done it peacefully. Those that have been violent, of course, they shouldn't do that. We will find them. We will arrest them. We will prosecute them. But this is an opportunity for this White House. I heard from a White House advisor just this morning basically saying we couldn't have scripted this any better. Looking to change the topic of conversation from the Elon Musk brouhaha last week and, the ongoing questions about the bill, the big, beautiful bill, quote, quote, that's heading to the Senate. Mike, this is the turf where they want to fight. And it's California, it's Los Angeles, a deep blue state and city. They're getting those images in that B-roll that Claire just talked about of a masked man with a Mexican flag in front of a car that's on fire, one of those self-driving taxis probably. And that's what they want to project to their audiences, to their base. Look, this is dangerous. That's why we're taking the steps that we are. And they're setting a trap for Democrats.
Well, the text reply that you got this morning from whoever you were texting with in terms of this administration, they're correct. They couldn't have dreamed that it would go this way. Look, there are 2,000 members of the National Guard on the streets of Los Angeles this morning. There are 700 Marines, combat-trained Marines, en route to Los Angeles to stand and guard a building, okay? So that's 2,700 total United States military personnel on the streets of Los Angeles. There are 9,000 members of the Los Angeles Police Department. I've heard Mayor Bass, I've heard the governor, Governor Newsom, talking about this, what's going on for the past couple of days. I haven't heard either of them say you cannot throw cement blocks at police cars. You cannot light the American flag on fire. You cannot damage buildings. You cannot damage property. You cannot riot on the streets of Los Angeles, or you, whoever you are going to be subject to those three magic words that only the police department can use. You're under arrest. Until that happens, until they deal forcefully with what is actually going on the ground, the Democrats are taking a huge loss on this.